This is a 50-minute vinyasa flow class that I've called 360 degrees of hips. We will open the hips in all directions, leading us towards full splits. Let's begin in Sukhasana, easy seat, and give ourselves some time to let the eyes close and start to settle into the breath. If you need more than a few rounds of breath to settle in here, press pause and just take a nice chunk of time to start to let your breath deepen. To begin to really connect with and feel your breath flowing in and out through your nose. And to begin to gather yourself and focus yourself around this practice. Stepping away and releasing all of our outside distractions and the noise of the day. And let this be as simple as your inhale and your exhale. Let's start to move into Janusrasana, right leg straight, left leg bent. We'll fold over that right leg. Make sure you're rotating just a bit towards that right thigh, so your belly button is pointing down the middle of your right thigh. And keep this really easy to start, just a soft fold over the leg. Feel your crown of your head lengthening towards your foot. And then let's start to sit up. We'll bring that right knee in with us. Grab the back of the thigh. Sit nice and tall. You can continue holding the knee or maybe grab the foot and stretch the leg out to straight. Continuing to sit really tall, right on the sit bones. And then we'll take your left hand to the outer right foot and spin your right arm back. And if you chose the bent knee version, then your hand will be supporting the knee instead of the foot. Continuing to sit nice and tall and lifting up all the way along the spine. We'll bring your right arm back to grab the big toe side of your foot, pull the leg in a tiny bit closer, and then softly let it drop down towards the ground. Sit nice and tall. And then take your left hand back behind that left shin, come to stand on your left shin and your right foot. Hips lifting from the ground, big stretch. And then exhale, sit right back down and let yourself fold over that right leg once again. And then we'll switch sides, Janusrasana with the left leg straight. Find that rotation over the left thigh, belly button down the middle of the leg, and then fold on in. And remember, this isn't about reaching for the foot. This pose is about finding length up the back side of the body. We'll begin to sit up. We'll bring the leg with us. So again, knee bent, supporting the back of the knee, or hands grabbing the foot, leg heading towards straight. Sit tall, lengthen through your left heel. And then we'll take your right hand to the outer left foot. We'll rotate and pull that left arm back into the twist. And then we'll bring that back hand, the left hand, to the big toe side of your foot. Pull the leg in a tiny bit closer. And then softly release. Let the foot and the leg float down to the ground. And then we'll take your right hand behind your right shin. Come up to stand on that right shin. Hips lifting, big stretch through the left side of the body. And then let your hips come right back down to the mat. We'll fold one more time over that left leg. And then we'll start to lift right back up. And we'll roll over onto our shins. We'll come into a kneeling shape. Inhale, let your hands come up to the sky. And then exhale, folding the hips. Let your head fall towards the floor as you reach down and back. Inhale, lift up, reach up. Maybe a little back bend at the top. Exhale, fold, reach down and back. Inhale, lift. And exhale, fold. And then as you lift up this next time, we'll take your right leg and step it out to the side. Your toes can either be pointing forward or out to the side. We'll lean your right hand down the shin, take your left arm, reach it up and over. Breathe in deeply to the left ribs. And then we'll take your left hand to the ground outside your left leg, reach your right arm up and over. So your right foot will stay down. Breathe deeply into the right side of your waist. And they'll come right back up to kneel. Inhale, hands to the sky. And again, exhale, fold from your hips. Inhale, reach up, lift up. And then exhale, fold. And then this time as you lift up, we'll take your left leg out. Again, toes can be pointing straight out to the side or forward, your choice. Left arm down the leg, right arm reaching up and over. Breathe in deeply to the right side of your ribs and your waist. And then we'll switch, taking that right hand to the ground, left arm up and over. Left foot stays down, so you get this big stretch all the way from your left toes through the left side of the body, through the fingertips. And we'll make our way back up onto our shins, hands to the floor for table, and then we'll make that transition into downward facing dog. With your inhale, we'll roll forward into plank pose. And then exhale, hips up and back, downward facing dog. Inhale to plank. Exhale, down dog. Continuing with your breath, inhaling forward to plank. And exhaling, pulling right on back. With your next inhale, we'll take your right foot to the sky. And then exhale, knee to chest, shoulders coming over your wrists. Inhale, right foot to the sky. Exhale, right knee, right upper arm. Inhale, foot to the sky. Exhale, right knee, left upper arm. And then pull it back to middle and take it back to one-legged plank. Let your right toes stack on top of your left heel. So your peace toes, your big toe and your second toe. And settle into plank. Let your hips come up to the sky for down dog with that leg cross. And then let your right foot come back to the ground. Inhale, left foot to the sky. Exhale, knee to heart. Inhale, kick the leg up and back. And then exhale, left knee, left upper arm. Inhale, reach the leg up to the sky. And then across your body. Left knee, right upper arm. And then pull the knee to center. Kick it back, one-legged plank. And stack those toes on top of your right heel. Always, of course, the option to put both feet on the ground for plank if that's better for you in your practice today. And then we'll pull the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Release the left foot to the ground, and then we'll very slowly walk ourselves forward to standing forward fold. So I like to just take kind of heel to toes, like my left heel in line with my right toes, and then pause there for a moment, and then the next foot, and just savor every step all the way forward. And once you're in the Uttanasana standing forward fold, we'll just settle there. Big deep bend to the knees and let yourself roll up vertebrae by vertebrae all the way to your Tadasana. We'll walk forward to the front of the mat. Inhale, let your hands reach up to the sky. Exhale, fold, moving into Surya Namaskara A. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold, and let's step back to plank for this first round. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, back bend of your choosing. And then exhale, downward facing dog. We'll settle here for a couple breaths. Let your head just hang between your arms. Try to balance the weight between your hands and your feet and steady your breath. And then inhale, prepare to jump or step forward, and exhale, move, top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Strong legs. With your inhale, we'll lift all the way up to stand, and then exhale, hands right down into the heart. Same thing again. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Halfway lift with your inhale, and then either step back to plank or jump to Chaturanga, your choice. We'll lower when you're ready, lift into your back bend on an inhale when you're ready, and then pull on back, downward facing dog to settle for about 5 breaths. Just let yourself settle into the shape and into the rhythm of your breath. Inhale, prepare to move forward, and then exhale, jump or step, feet to hands. Halfway lift with your inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, all the way back up to stand. Reverse swan dive, and exhale, hands into heart. Inhale, reach those hands up. Exhale, fold. Halfway lift with your inhale. And then we'll exhale and step your left leg back into a low lunge. So back knee to the mat, hands to the sky, And then exhale, find your half splits. So use your hands on the ground to guide it as you need or let them float. Inhale, reach the hands to the sky, lift your back knee, crescent pose or high lunge, and then let your front leg straighten and exhale, fold in over that front leg. Bend your front knee, let your hands come to the floor. We'll step back to plank, 1 or 2 legged vinyasa, lowering chaturanga. Inhale, back bend of your choice. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left foot to the sky. Exhale, step the left foot outside your left hand. Let your hands stay on the mat as your left knee drops out to the side. And just really pull your heart forward. Maybe even come up onto your fingertips, creating a cobra shape in your lizard. And then we'll take that left leg back up to the sky to open down dog, scorpion down dog. And then we'll bring your leg forward and step your left leg towards your right hand. So your inner thighs are crossed. And then pull your weight back into the right foot. Folding over the legs. And then we'll step ourselves to the front of the mat with your right foot behind your left. So pinky toes together with your legs crossed. Folding over the legs. Keep a small bend to both legs so that you don't hyperextend in that back leg. And then uncross your legs, Ardha Uttanasana, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive, come on up. And exhale, hands settle into your heartbeat. So same thing, other side. Inhale, reach the hands. Exhale, fold. Halfway lift with your inhale. And then exhale, fold. Your right leg will step back this time. Knee down, low lunge, hands to the sky, big inhale. Exhale, half splits. Modify as you need to. Inhale into your high lunge crescent pose. Let your front leg straighten, and then exhale, fold over that front leg. Let your hands reach down and back. And then we'll start to bend your left knee. Let your hands come to the floor. Knee comes up into the chest, and then you'll come into a one-legged plank and vinyasa with one foot lifted or put both feet on the ground. We'll meet up in downward facing dog. Inhale, right foot to the sky. And step that right foot outside your right hand. So fallen lizard is what I call this. Your knee will fall out to the side. And then let your heart pull forward. Create a little bit of a back bend here. And then plant the hands. Pull that right foot up and back into your open down dog. And then we'll step that right foot forward towards your left hand. So your legs are crossed. Pull the weight back into your left foot. Fold over the legs. And then when you're ready to step forward, we'll step your left foot behind the right so that your ankles are crossed, pinky toe edges of the feet together, folding over the crossed legs. And then uncross your legs, feet under hips, halfway lift with your inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift all the way up. And exhale, hands into heart. Good, so we'll repeat that. It'll be a little bit repetitive. Inhale, reach the hands to the sky. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, left leg steps back into low lunge. Inhale, hands reach up. Exhale, half splits. Inhale, crescent pose. Exhale, straight-legged crescent pose as you fold over the leg. Hands to the floor. We'll come back for a 1 or 2 legged vinyasa. And we'll meet up in downward facing dog. Inhale, left foot to the sky, and then step that foot outside your left hand, fallen lizard. Let the knee fall out, let your foot roll out, and then we'll take the foot up and back. 3-legged down dog. And we'll step that foot across to your right hand and fold over those crossed legs. Weight pulling back into the right foot. And then we'll step forward into cross-legged Uttanasana, your right foot coming behind the left. And then inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, uncrossing the legs. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive. And exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, reach. Exhale, dive. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold and step your right leg back. Low lunge on your inhale. Exhale, half splits. Inhale, crescent pose, high lunge. Exhale, straight-legged crescent as you fold and let the hands reach down and back. Bend your knee, put the hands on the ground. Step back, 1 or 2 legged vinyasa. We'll meet up again in downward facing dog. Once you find that shape, inhale, right foot to the sky. Exhale, right foot outside your right hand, fallen lizard with the little back bend. And then take it up and back, three-legged down dog. Step that foot towards your left hand, cross your thighs, pull the weight back into your left foot, fold, and then step forward into cross-legged uttanasana, left foot coming outside the right foot. Uncross the legs, Ardha Uttanasana, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Pausing here for a couple breaths. Feel your shoulder heads pull away from the ground, and then find your way back, downward facing dog. From your down dog, we'll inhale, right foot to the sky. Step the foot between your hands. Drop your back knee to the floor for low lunge. And if your knee's sensitive, always the option to pad that back knee with a blanket. We're going to put your right hand on your right thigh, grab your left foot with your hand, and then we'll sink the hips towards the ground, kind of let the foot push into your hand, and then pull the hips away from the ground and pull the foot in towards your butt. And just pulse there a few times. The next time you pull your foot into the butt, we'll pause there and just hold. And then release the back foot, hands to the floor. We'll lift your back knee off the ground and then start to bend and straighten just that back leg. Trying to isolate the movement to simply that back leg. Try to limit how much your rest of your body moves or kind of rocks forward and back. Hands could always be on blocks if the ground is just too far away. So follow the pace of your breath, bending and straightening. We'll take the hands to the sky and continue that same movement, bending and straightening just the back leg. After a few rounds of this, we're going to switch into something a little funky. We're going to start to switch which leg is bent and which leg is straight. So let's start to do that here. So let's bend the back leg, straighten the front leg as you reach your hands down and back, and then switch as you lean forward. Just kind of go slow with this the first couple times. Follow the pace of your breath, or maybe even a little bit slower. And then one of these times, you'll hold that bent back leg and then launch yourself into Warrior 3. And then we'll start to bend and straighten your standing leg. And if this is too much today, just hold in Warrior 3 and skip the bending and straightening. And then let's grab your back leg and expand into Dancer pose. Really push that foot into your hand. And then let's slowly release, step back to Crescent pose. And fold hands to the floor, vinyasa of your choosing. We'll switch sides. Left foot to the sky, inhale. Exhale, foot comes between the hands, back knee to the floor for low lunge. Your left hand will come to your thigh and we'll grab your right foot with your hand. And again, as we lift the hips, pull the foot in towards the butt. And then as you drop the hips, let the foot push into the hand. And we'll just pulse there a few times with your breath. The next time you pull the foot in towards the butt, we'll pause and just savor that for a moment. And then we'll release that back foot, tuck your back toes under, lift the knee, hands come down to the floor, and we'll find that bend and straighten in just the back leg. Again, trying your best to isolate the movement to just the back leg. Sternum and crown of your head pulling forward. And then after this next round, we'll take your hands to the sky, continue that movement of bending and straightening just the back leg. A few more rounds here at your own pace. And then we'll start to find that funky movement here with your next round. So we'll bend the back leg and straighten the front leg as your hands reach down and back. And then we'll bend the front leg and straighten the back leg as you lean forward. Just move a couple times through that. You know now that Warrior 3 is coming next. So after you do this a couple times, when you find that good slingshot round, use that shape to launch you forward into Warrior 3. And then maybe find the bend and straighten of your left leg, or maybe skip it. Most importantly, keep breathing steadily and try to keep as much ease in your body as possible. Let's take your right hand, grab your right foot, expand into dancer pose, really press the foot into the hand. And then softly release, step back to crescent, hands to the floor with an exhale, vinyasa transition of your choosing. So anything that helps you to connect, and just hit pause for a moment. And we'll bring your shins to the floor between your hands. We're going to set up for reclined hero pose. So you're going to either sit on the ground between your feet with your knees hip width apart, or you can put a block between your feet and sit on that block. And then you're going to start to recline yourself as much as feels good. You might stay up on the hands, you might come onto the forearms, or you might lay all the way down. If you lay all the way down, once you're down, just lift your hips and take your tailbone towards your knees a bit more, towards the back of your knees, and then put your hips back down. And then your arms can really settle wherever feels good, by your sides, on your belly, maybe overhead. And we're going to try and stay here for about a minute in total, so just settle into your breath and enjoy. It's really important in these longer holds that we continue to listen to our body as we relax. So just listen to the signals that your body gives you. If things start to hurt or feel tense, back out a bit, or possibly just shift the shape to release whatever tension or pain has been created. Gradually begin to make your exit from this pose nice and slow. Take your time. We'll lift up onto our heels for a moment, so bring the hips a little bit higher. Let your hands fall into your lap. Just close your eyes and drop into your breath for a few rounds. And then let's make our way slowly back into downward facing dog. From your down dog, we'll inhale right foot to the sky. Open your hip into scorpion dog. Keep your shoulders square to the ground. And then we'll step your right foot between your hands. So high lunge on the legs. We'll reach your right hand forward and then swoop the hand around for horizon lunge. You'll roll onto the pinky edge of both feet. Let your left hip drop any amount towards the ground. And we'll bring it back around and lift up into warrior two. Front heel back arch alignment. Inhale, let's reverse your warrior. And then exhale, let's take extended side angle with your right hand on your right ankle. We're going to create a little bit of tension between your right knee and your right arm. So arm pressing into the knee, knee pressing into the arm. And then we'll swoop back, reverse warrior. And then exhale, extended side angle. This time with your right forearm on your right thigh. And then we'll find Skandasana or Spider-Man lunge over that left leg. Your left toes turned out, knee pointing down the middle of the foot. And you can stay pretty high here with the hip lifted, or you can sink nice and low. Just listen to your body. We'll crawl it over to the right side, maybe with hands on the ground or maybe hands lifted. And then over back to the left side. And then we'll make our way all the way back into extended side angle over that right leg. Inhale, come up, warrior two. And then let's turn toes out and heels in for horse pose. Make sure your knees are pointing down the middle of your feet. Keep the hips low. We'll fold from your hips, reaching the arms and the torso forward. And then inhale, come right back up. Warrior two to the front of the mat. And vinyasa of your choosing. From your downward facing dog, we'll take left foot to the sky, inhale, Exhale, left foot between the hands, horizon lunge. So your left hand reaches forward and then sweeps all the way back, rolling onto the pinky edges of both feet. And then bring that hand back around. We'll come up into warrior two. From your warrior two, let's reverse your warrior. Right hand down the back leg. And then we'll switch. Left hand to your inner ankle. Create that tension between your hand and your leg again. So leg pressing into the arm pressing back into the leg. It'll just turn on or fire up your outer left hip a bit more. And then we'll come back, reverse warrior. And then extended side angle one more time, this time with the forearm on your left thigh. Skandasana over your right leg. Remember just to go only as deep as it feels good in your body. And then over to that left leg. Back to the right leg. And we'll end up in extended side angle over that left foot one more time. We'll come up for horse pose or goddess from your warrior two. And this time we'll keep the arms upright, but we'll lift up onto the balls of our feet. So we lift the heels. If that's too much, heels can stay down and just focus on sinking nice and low into your horse pose. And then slowly let your heels come back down, warrior two to the front of the mat, vinyasa of your choosing. And from your downward facing dog, we'll let your knees come down to the floor. And we'll turn long ways on your mat so that your knees are padded. We're going to settle into frog pose. So your knees are going to come out in line with your hips. And it's all about the right angles in this pose. So your ankles will be in line with your knees, and then your toes will be in line with your heel. So your toes will turn straight out. And you can stay up on hands, you can come down onto forearms, you can lay down on to your chest. But if you take any of those deeper options, just make sure that your hips stay directly in line with your knees. So don't let your hips pull forward or back of the knees at all. And again, we'll settle here for about another minute. So just let yourself get comfortable. If at any point this becomes unbearable on your knees or in the hips or on the low back, you can take the same shape on your back. And you can support your outer thighs with your hands so that your legs aren't just hanging in this open shape. So just keep that in mind. Know that you can take that if this becomes painful. And as you breathe nice and steady, as the breath creates ease in the shape, notice if any areas start to get tense. And do your best to release tension in all of those areas. Begin to think about lifting up here, and then very slowly over a couple rounds of breath, make your exit. Take your time, be gentle with it. Let your legs find their way back together, and one more time we'll sit in hero's pose on the heels. Let your hands fall into your lap. Let your eyes close, and just let that settle into your body and your breath for a few rounds. Begin to make your way back into downward facing dog. And we'll take that stroll to the front of the mat again. So as quickly or as slowly as you'd like. Again, I recommend taking that step-by-step stroll and enjoying every inch of movement forward. Once you're at the front of the mat, we'll bend the knees and lift ourselves up into Utkatasana chair pose. We'll take your left ankle over your right thigh for figure 4 chair. And then slowly take that left leg back into warrior 2 once again. Inhale, reverse warrior, and then exhale, Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. Any variations, maybe hand on a block or the floor. We're just going to step it right back, reverse warrior, and we're going to make those transitions a couple times. Come forward into half moon, and then step it back, reverse warrior. And just follow your own pace of breath there. So we're not trying to hold the balance, we're just trying to find it and then let it go. Next time you step back, we'll find warrior 2. We'll switch into crescent pose and then come right back into that figure 4 chair. Left ankle over right thigh. This time, you can fold as deeply over that figure 4 chair as you'd like. Maybe hands come to the ground or blocks. Those of you who like flying pigeon pose, Ekapada Galavasana, I'm not going to teach it in this video, but it is a great option here if you would like it. So figure 4 chair, figure 4 forward fold, or flying pigeon. We'll slowly make your way back up into figure 4 chair if you left it, and then both feet to the ground, regular Utkatasana. We'll fold over the legs, reach down and back with the arms on your exhale. Inhale, lift right back up. And then we'll take your right ankle and cross it over your left thigh. Figure 4 chair again. This time we'll stay upright. And slowly begin to take that right leg, step it back, warrior 2, and then inhale, reverse warrior. Slowly make your way up and over into half moon, Ardha Chandrasana. And again, we'll just settle into your own pace and rhythm of flowing between reverse warrior and half moon. Take your time. Keep a smile on your face. Breathe steady. Next time you step back, we'll find warrior 2, switch to crescent pose, and step right back forward for figure 4 chair pose. Again, you can fold as much forward as you'd like. Hands maybe to the ground or blocks. Arm balancers, you're welcome to take the arm balance. And then we'll make our way right back to figure 4 chair. Foot to the floor, chair pose, Utkatasana. We'll fold over the legs, reach down and back. Inhale, come right back up. And then this time as you fold, we'll take your hands to the ground. Make your way back through a vinyasa. We'll end up in downward facing dog. With your inhale, we'll take right foot to the sky and we're going to settle into fallen triangle. So your right leg will kick out underneath your left arm. Both hands can stay down if you'd like, or you can take that left arm up and over into a nice side stretch. And then we'll take your leg back up, 3-legged downward facing dog. And this time we'll come into pigeon pose. So right knee towards right wrist, trying to get onto the outer shin, outer thigh of that right leg. Hips squaring towards the ground. You can stay as much upright as you'd like, or you can fold in over that right leg. And we'll stay here for about a minute. If pigeon pose is not your favorite, your option is to roll over onto your back and thread the needles. So your right ankle will cross your left thigh with your left leg bent, and you'll hug the legs in towards you, grabbing on to either left thigh or left shin. Wherever you're at, keep breathing fully and deeply, and stay responsive to the messages of your body even as you relax here. And slowly begin to lift yourself up. We'll take yourself back into downward facing dog and just enjoy for a couple breaths. Maybe march out the legs. Notice the differences side to side. And then we'll take your left foot to the sky, fall in triangle, left foot kicks out underneath your right hand. Both hands can stay down or take that right arm up and into a side stretch. And then we'll make your way back up, three-legged downward facing dog, into pigeon pose as you're ready. So set it up, find your comfort here. Maybe your comfort's on your back and thread the needle. Grab any props that you might need and then settle in for about a minute. We'll slowly begin to transition up and out. We'll take it back into downward facing dog again for a few rounds of breath and just moving in the hips, marching the legs, wagging your tail, whatever you need to get the blood flowing again. And then your right foot will come up to the sky with an inhale. And let's come into your low lunge. So back knee to the ground one more time. From your low lunge, we'll shift back into half splits. And let yourself really fold in here. So hands on blocks of the ground, heart pulling towards your foot, finding that stretch up the right hamstring. And then we'll take our weight into that right foot and launch into standing splits. Hands to the floor. You can stay in standing splits if you would like, with hands on the ground or blocks. Maybe one or both hands comes to your calf for balance, or if you like to handstand hop. Maybe you try some L hops. And you might find some hang time, or you might just hop and come back down. Wherever you're at, breathe steady. We'll slowly make our way back into crescent pose, and then vinyasa of your choosing. Other side, left foot to the sky on an inhale. Step it forward for low lunge. And then shift it into half splits. And make this shape as much about length as you possibly can. Lengthen the legs, lengthen the waist, length through the spine. And then we'll shift into standing splits when you're ready. And again, this can be anything you want it to be. It can be hands on the ground, just a fold. It can be a balance with one or both hands on your calf. It can be handstand hops. And then we'll transition back to crescent pose. Vinyasa when you're ready. We'll meet up in downward facing dog. So from your downward facing dog, bring your knees down to the floor. If you have a blanket and blocks available, go ahead and grab those. The blocks we're going to use either below your hands or below your front hamstring for splits. We are at full splits. And the blanket's going to help us get into full splits. So as we get into this, know that if you'd prefer just to take half splits for this minute hold, or 30-second hold, on both sides, you can just do half splits. If you want full splits, let's find a low lunge with your right foot on the blanket in front of your mat, hands on your blocks. Left toes tucked under to help you keep the hips square. And then we'll let that right leg start to stretch out into splits. Stopping when it feels like an appropriate depth. And eventually your left foot will untuck if you'd like. If your right thigh does not make it all the way down to the ground, which is completely normal, place a block underneath your hamstring of that right leg to give it some support. Try to keep this as tension-free and as full of ease as you possibly can. Big, full breaths. We're only holding each side for 30 seconds. So the exit is just as important as the entrance. Nice and slow, back it up. Maybe take a down dog or some table or cat-cow, however you'd like to transition. And then with your inhale, take left foot to the sky and we'll set up for that second side. So low lunge with the foot on the blanket in front of the mat, hands on your blocks, back toes tucked under. We'll very gradually let that left leg stretch out to straight, not pushing it any further than your body wants to go, knowing that each side is different. This will be a totally different experience than your first side. And then let yourself get as comfortable as possible in this shape. Smiles on your face can make it more bearable. Big, deep, full inhale. Big, full, complete exhale. And then very slowly back it up. Remove your props. Take any transition that feels good here. So again, maybe some down dog or table or cat-cow. And then the next thing we're going to find in our practice here is about a minute in an inversion. So I want you to take any inversion that sounds good, and that might be legs up the wall, that might be plow or shoulder stand, it could be headstand, forearm stand, or handstand. So again, I'm not going to teach an inversion in this class today. I'm just going to give the space for a hold of a minute. And if you need to go to a wall to find a minute hold, go ahead and go find a wall. Get into it, come down as you need to, take breaks as you need to, and find a steady rhythm to your breath. When I'm holding my inversions for a minute or a few minutes, I like to find a rhythm to my breath where my inhale is a count of 5 and my exhale is a count of 5. So a minute hold is only 6 rounds of breath. Makes it feel more doable. When you're ready, begin to come down and settle into child's pose. Any variation with the arms that feels good at this moment. Maybe let your eyes close and begin to let your body start to settle into the ground. From here, we're going to wind it down and cool it off. Start to let yourself lay out onto the belly. We'll come into Sphinx pose to start. Elbows beneath your shoulders. Heart lifting away from the floor. Crown of the head lifting up towards the ceiling. You could stay there if you'd like, or take a locust pose or a bow pose. So any of those back bends, great options. Just pick one. I know that all three require your belly to be pressing down into the ground, but just do your best to breathe fully into the ribs and into the low belly. And then very slowly go ahead and release. Create a forehead pillow on your forearms. Let your legs fall side to side, either little booty shakes with the legs straight or knees bent and the feet falling side to side. And you're welcome to repeat a back bend on your belly. So the same options we just took, maybe locust or bow, or flip over onto your back and take either bridge, Setu Bandha with the hands clasped beneath the back, or even maybe an upward facing bow pose or wheel. If there's another back bend that's calling your name, feel free to take it. Slowly come back down to the ground. If you took a belly back bend, let's roll over onto our backs. We'll find windshield wipers with the knees, twisting the knees right to left, feet hip width apart, so you have plenty of room to let the knees move side to side. Next time your knees fall to the right, let's pause there. Perhaps take a right ankle cross over your outer left thigh. If that bothers the left knee, then skip it. Try to let both of your shoulders drop down into the ground. Breathe deeply into the belly and specifically that area beneath the bottom of your left side of your ribs. And then we'll release any cross of the ankle. Switch the legs over to the left. Perhaps the left ankle crosses the right thigh. Let's release the twist. Bring your legs in for a reclined bound angle. So soles of the feet together, knees open, and just hold on to the outer feet or the outer ankles. Press the feet or the ankles into your hands. Feel the knees moving away from your face. And then we'll transition into happy baby. Let your knees come down by your sides, holding onto feet or ankles. You can just hold here in stillness, or you can start to straighten one leg at a time. Switching which leg is straight every breath or every couple breaths. Feel free to take some extra time if there's any additional pose that you'd like to put into your practice today. When you're ready, stretch out for Savasana and stay as long as you have time to stay in Savasana today. Thank you for practicing with me, yogis. Namaste.